series of events in the Middle East have changed the traditional regional equilibrium. Saudi Arabia, which emerged after the War of October 1973, saw its role reduced after September 11. United States invasion in Afghanistan and Iraq, the war between Hezbollah and Israel in 2006, and the decision of Iran of continuing with its nuclear project are the main elements of the new regional geopolitics.
The first inhabitants of Iran were a race of people living in Western Asia. When the Aryans arrived, they started mingling with the old native Asians. The Aryans are a race of people today known as the Indo-Europeans. The Indo-Europeans are believed to be the ancestors of today Iran, India, and most of Western Europe. Present Iran was historically referred to as Persia until 1935, when Reza Shah Pahlavi asked the international community to call the country by its name, Iran. But in 1959, due to controversial debates over the name, it was announced that both could be used.
Recent discoveries indicate that, centuries before the rise of early civilizations in Mesopotamia, Iran was inhabited by humans. But the written history of Iran dates back to 3200 BC. It begins when the early Achaemenids, the dynasty whose under the first Iron World Empire blossomed. Cyrus the Great was the founder of the empire, and he was the first to establish the Charter of Human Rights. In this period, Iran stretched from the Aegean coast of Minor Asia to Afghanistan, as well as south to Egypt. The Achaemenid Empire was overthrown by Alexander the Great in 330 BC and was followed by the Seleucid Greek dynasty. After the Seleucids, we witness about dozen successive dynasties reigning over the country. In 641, Arabs conquered Iran and launched a new vicissitudinous era. Persians, who were the followers of Zoroaster, gradually turned to Islam, and it was in the Safavid period when Shiite Islam became the official religion of Iran. Throughout Iran's long history, in spite of different devastating invasions and occupations by Arabs, Turks, Mongols, British, Russians, and others, the country has always maintained its national identity and has developed as a distinct political and cultural unit.
The aim of this approach is to analyze the new regional geopolitics in the Middle East, particularly in the fall of Saddam Hussein and Iraq, the war in Lebanon, from which a new regional actor has emerged, and the collapse of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. Tehran has become a regional actor since the disappearance of two actors against its interest, Hussein and the regime of Taliban. Besides, the Iran search for the nuclear weapon can turn it into the center to equilibrate the current balance of power among the nuclear states like Pakistan and Israel.
The position of Iran to acquire nuclear weapons, or at least the technology to enrich uranium, impelled the Sunni Arab countries to seek nuclear parity. At the summit in Mecca in early 2007, the Persian Gulf monarchy decided to support the Egyptian atomic project. In addition to the agreement between Egypt and the Gulf monarchies to create a nuclear counterweight to Iran, there are plans to destabilize the government of the Ayatollah during the Iraqi conflict, including programs trying to divide Syria from its main support. During the visit of Ximena to the Middle East, US Vice President proposed a new strategy to isolate Iran and to get a possible alliance with Damascus. But the relationship between Syria and Iran is basic to keep the balance of power in the Middle East. Moreover, the collapse of Taliban government in Afghanistan was a defeat for the Pakistani policy of containment against Iran, as long as the government before the arrival of Pashtun and Rabbani fundamentalism was openly favorable to the interests of Tehran. In front of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Iran's position was also improved. The fundamentalist Hamas party's victory in 2006 allows Iran to have more influence than with the previous government led by Fatah. But it's the war fought between the Hezbollah and the Israeli army, with the inability of Israel to defeat the Lebanese movement, what gives Iran greater regional stature. However, it is the Iranian nuclear development which could bring the country as a shot in the Middle East against the United States presence and the Israeli policy.